GearBest have sent me the KINGKONG ET100 here. It comes in two other sizes as well. You get the 115 and the 125, and the measurement is from motor centre to motor centre. So it's 100, 115 or 125. So I've got the baby one basically. Really looking forward to flying it. Comes in a super box. I mean, this is really, everything's assembled on it. It's ready to fly. All we've got to do is bind it up to a transmitter, and you can choose what system you want to fly under. I'm doing the FRSKY one. So I've got the XM one on here. So just wanted to show you the box really. Really nice. You've got loads of room for loads more batteries and everything in here. And I would imagine it's the same box for all of them. So you get even the bigger one in there as well. There's loads of room underneath, but I'll get it all out so you can have a look. It only comes with one battery, unfortunately. You could do with 10 with these things. And this is a 450 milliamp hour, and it's an 80C, and it's got 80/160, so it probably can draw a little bit more, but I bet it'll only be at the 80. JST connector there, and it's got it's a 2-cell as well, so you've got the balanced charger port there. Loads of room here, as I said, for more batteries and more storage. Let's get this out and have a look at it. Okay, so the actual quad looks really nice, and the thing I like about this is they've got a test on the website about it, and they're sort of saying how strong these sort of ducted fans and sort of prop guards as well, all built into one, are. They don't really mean a lot to me, the figures, but they do show it next to a competitor's one and just show what the difference is. So I think that's pretty good sort of thing. They look pretty robust, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to be really honest here. I'm not a techie person, and this is not a technical channel. So if you want all the figures and the intricacies of everything, there's loads of guys out there that do them. This is just honest flying. Is it enjoyable? Is it value for money? That's the way I work on it, sort of thing. And I'm still trying to find like the ultimate starter quad in this sort of range, that someone who's new to it wants to have a bit of a go at Acro and everything. Maybe this will be the one. I don't know. Having a good look around it, I really like the way it's finished. It's to me, it looks really well put together. Nice carbon fibre sort of frame there, and then you, like I say, you've got these really powerful ducted fan protectors here. Running through a few of the specs, these are 1935 tri-blades, obviously, as you can see here. The motors are XT1103s, and they're 7800 kVs. And on the spec, it does say it will take 2 or 3 cell, but there is a little thing warning on the back here not to put a 3S on it. I wouldn't put, to be honest, I'm not that too worried about it. If I want a 3S quad, I'll probably go up in the sizes and everything. It's a Pico BLX flight controller, and it's BL helis, and it's 10 amp, and that says 2 or 3S, but obviously they're recommending a 2S on it. To be honest, all these figures mean nothing to me, and like I say, the techie guys will probably explain exactly what all that means. I'm surprised it hasn't got 4 or even 5 bladed props on, because I think at this size that might be better, but we'll see. They're the ones that produce it and everything. And as I was saying, the specs don't mean anything to me. I've bought cars that are supposed to do phenomenal miles to the gallon, and they don't. I've ridden motorbikes that are supposed to do something or other, and they don't. You know, all the things we buy, the specs don't actually equal up to what it's going to be. It's how it works in itself, I always think, anyway. Onto, I mean, things like the VTX, yes, that's that information I think is quite useful. It's 16 channel, and it's 25 or 100 milliwatt. I think its default is 100. You've got 800 TVL, so it's going to be pretty good, and it's 150 degree lens. Those sort of things, they make more sense to me. I understand those. And you can have either FRSKY, FLYSKY, or DSM2 as well. So you can choose, or you can just have a one that you're going to add your own receiver on. So, as I say, the quad looks pretty good actually, and let's just have a quick measurement of the carbon fibre bit on it, because it does actually look reasonably thick. It looks, yeah, quite thick in truth, and we're coming in at 250, 2.5 millimeters there, so I think it's going to be a good little fly. I'm going to pop it apart for you just so you can have a look inside, and there's just these 3 screws to undo. So that's it, just those 3 screws, and then it's quite nicely slotted in. It's sort of like on a spigot that comes through there. I think it works rather well. And then that just simply pops off. It's quite a good fit in there. I like that. I like a good fit, and that certainly is. So there's our like I say, I'm on the XM here, and you've got the tiny little sort of bind button there that you've got to press. They have put a slot in the top that you could actually slide through and get hold of it. To be honest, I had a look and I really couldn't get in there, sort of thing. So, and there's, you know, the stack in there looks pretty good, I would say. Again, not really a techie guy, but to me, it all looks pretty well put together, I would say. And to hook it up to Betaflight, they actually give you a cable, and the reason they give you this cable, I think, I don't know whether the camera will pick this up, but in there's your connector on your micro USB, and this is actually a really thin one. This is a lot thinner than anything else I've got, and you can just about get it through there when it's all reassembled, obviously. But what I probably would do to save me taking it apart every time, it's really no ordeal with those 3 screws, but I just think you'll gradually wear them out. I'm just going to get the little sort of Dremel tool and just take that out a little bit, or you could just use a little file just to make it a little bit bigger so we can get in there nice and easy to connect it up to Betaflight. I shan't be playing around with it in Betaflight. I should just literally plug it in, make sure all the functions work and the switches work, and then I'm off to fly. That's as far as I ever go in Betaflight. I did say it wasn't a techie channel. And while we've got it apart, you can actually see how the camera unit is actually held in position there. If you needed more angle on it, you would be able to adjust it a little bit. You just have to take a little bit off these lugs here and push it forward. It wouldn't be rocket science to do, but I'll see how we get on with the angle. I think it's about 15 degrees, so it should be okay for this. And looking around the back end, there's the little, it has got a beeper on it as well, which I'm really pleased to to see, because all I'm interested in is, does it fly around my garden? How well does it perform around the garden? And if I lose it in the woods, they're a right devil to find. This one wouldn't be too bad, being in black and white. It's a lot easier than the all black ones, I must admit. But the having the beeper is superb. Also included, you get the FRSKY instruction manual for the XM. Just the normal sort of thing, but that's nice of that. They pop that in there for you. You get a really good instruction manual. I like this. All in Chinese on one side, and then when you open it out, it's all in English, and it runs through the 3 models. So it's obviously they've got a similarity running through them. And I'd be interested if I do get, you know, I would like having the smallest one and the largest one just to see what the difference was. And then it runs through everything really well, really nicely done. On the channels, what the colour codes are on the actual transmitter for what frequency you need to set it up on and everything. So nicely done. I really like this. And then it moves on, you know, for sort of people like me that are sort of new to all this sort of stuff, how to actually bind it and to the Tyrannus on the XM, and literally all the different transmitters and the different forms that it comes in. I really like that. And then it actually goes on to tell you how to set it up in Betaflight, so I'm going to keep it as simple as I possibly can. Okay, so like I say, it comes with 1 battery, but the nice thing about having it on a JST, as far as I'm concerned anyway, and I'm sure there's other guys out there that would instantly change this to an XT30, which is just another means of connecting, and you can actually draw more power through it, I think, or it's not going to get so warm. To be honest, at my level, I've not needed to change any of the XT61s as yet, so if I get to that stage, then I will, and I'll let you know by all means. But there's loads of different batteries. Got a 450 there, a 500 with a 50C draw. I've got a little 500 with a 30C draw. Honestly, these all fly perfect on it. Because it's got the rubber band underneath, you can just clip any battery in, so long as it's got a JST connector. So I think that's absolutely brilliant. So I'm quite happy with that. The thing it doesn't come with is a battery charger, and I'm really pleased about that, because then I can use any of the ones I've got. Obviously, I'm a little bit spoiled. I've got several of them. This one I actually got with my DIS ELF, which is a sort of complete package similar to this one, but you've got a transmitter and everything, and I've done a full review on it. Go and have a look at it. So this will work because it's got the 2-cell or 3-cell in there. You just simply plug it into a mains adapter there, and off you go. I've done a full review on this one, and this is another this is a cheap one. It's about £7. I'll put links down in descriptions for you, but go and have a look at the review, see what you think. This one's a bit easier. You don't need a mains adapter. All you need is just a mains cable into there, which is good. I'm pretty sure it will come with one anyway, but the other one you've got another separate box on, obviously. And again, same sort of system. Nice one with this is if you put in a 2-cell, you get the 2 red LEDs. When it's charged, it goes to green, and it's going to take about 20-30 minutes to charge these, so no problem at all there. Or if you want to go up to a hobby grade one, and I've done a full review on this as well. This is the IMAX B6 from Sky RC. I've actually gone for the one with the hologram on, so you pay a bit extra, but you actually know all the components are correct in it. There's cheaper ones out there, and again, I'll put a link down to the review I did of this and how to use it as well. It's a bit sort of button pressy, but once you get used to it, it's fine. And the nice thing about this, it will charge from a single cell up to 6 cell, and you can control the output and everything. So it's a little bit more involved, I would say, but actually I think they're well worth it. This thing, as you can see, it gets well hammered and just keeps coming back for more. I wouldn't like to say how many batteries this has had through. And with all of these, you get to charge your battery correctly and you're back in the air really quick. And to me, that's the important bit. And you just get a couple of plastic packs with spare rubber bands to actually hold the battery on, and they just simply go on the bottom there. I would imagine they're going to be a little bit of a devil to fit. They usually are, but they last for ages, and so that should be fine. You also got a little tiny sort of crib sheet of the frequency settings on the transmitter, so that's good, so you can keep that with you with it, because we'll need those. And then 2 complete extra sets of props, which is good, and then another complete set of screws as well for it. I really don't think we'll be damaging props on this, because that means that this is damaged, and they're sort of saying this is indestructible. I think that was what they said. They haven't had my flying yet, have they? Okay, so this is my very first flight, first takeoff and everything. So it is really smooth. As soon as you take off, you just feel confident with it. It's a very smooth flyer and just has that feel on it. And I actually had a little assistant here. I had my granddaughter with me, and just sort of had a little buzz around her. And you know, I all feel a family that weird headgear together stay together. So as you can see, it flips and rolls, no problem at all. I'm still getting to grips with doing that and having lots of control. I really want to do the slow loops, but yeah, the quick ones are good at the moment until I get a bit more proficient. Honestly, the control on this thing is awesome. It just feels rock solid when you fly it. The FPV was good on it, and I had no issues with it whatsoever. I don't do long range. If you know the channel at all, you know I don't. I just love buzzing around the garden, which has enough things going on for it. I even took it the other side of the house and didn't have any major dropout there as well, which is always a good test as far as I'm concerned for the FPV. Seemed to work really well. And like I say, it just fills you with confidence with flying it. It was fun to fly it as well. With the first flight, I didn't give it a real good run around. Oh, and that one there was just over anxious on the stick, so still getting a bit of a feel for it. And like I say, we're only a minute into the flight, and so on a brand new quad, it's trying to get to grips with how it actually flies and performs. And this just doesn't let you down at all. I did notice a couple of times you can get sort of, if you come in and drop it out of the sky really hard, then try and give it power back on. If you don't give it enough, you get that sort of dropout that you sometimes get with the ducted fan quads. But once you got used to it, you keep the power up a wee bit more, and I never had it again, only if you drop your guard sort of thing. If you do lose a bit of control with it, and in the other videos you're going to see in a minute, you'll see that I have a couple of incidents hitting branches and things like that. It is just controllable and recoverable, and to me that's really important, because if I'm over in the woods here at home and I drop it out there, I really need to get it back out of the woods rather than just drop it. But you wouldn't lose this one because it's got a great buzzer on it. It's seriously loud buzzer, so there's absolutely no problem at all. Took it out through the woods. This is a nice little test. It's quite tight through here, and with all the branches and everything, a real devil at times. And then we're just about coming up more or less to the end of it, and I thought I'd just see how precise we could be with it, and you could be very precise with it, and that was my hesitancy that made that look worse than it actually was. This thing is really super smooth, and if you hit anything with it, which I'm pretty sure before I end a flight I'm bound to hit something with it, like I say, it will recover, no problem at all. And precise, just so precise and easy to fly, and really does build your confidence with flying FPV. I must admit, it's nice. Everything was smooth on it. I know I keep saying that. I'm just waiting for this bit when I can actually show you how badly I hit something and how well it recovers. Yeah, that wouldn't be operator. That would definitely be the quad. And I love this. I get called Mr. Wobbly Head because I move my head around. You watch my granddaughter's head in a second when I go round. her head's following it round as well, even though she can't see it. She's just literally, the goggles have no means of looking out, and still her head's going round as well. So yeah, it must be a family trait. Yeah, you can definitely tell she's my granddaughter, can't you? There we go. Look, see, you watch her head come round. There we are. There we are. See, straight into the branch. Not even a flicker on it. Didn't damage a prop, didn't damage anything, and it just carried on flying. That was, to me, that's the sign of a really nice, manageable quad. Okay, so while I charged up the batteries, we did a little bit of recreational leaf clearing. So Grandad has something nice and pretty to look at as he came flying around the garden. And as you can see in the back garden, we've done all sorts of little patterns for you, from big Tigger's RC puds to hearts and all sorts. So good, really good fun. She's gone inside now. I'm playing in Acro. This is my second, third, fourth and fifth flight, and I just love it. It is just really fun. If you're a full-on racer, this isn't going to be for you. I don't expect you to even be looking at it. But if you're someone like me that just enjoys a bit of a blast around, and then I'll show you some controlled stuff later on, which is awesome on it. I mean, it is just such a flyable quad. If you have an incident with it and a crash or whatever, it honestly just bounces back. And invariably, you can recover it mid-air. It is absolutely awesome. Really nice piece of kit, and so precise with the flying. Really good fun. I'll save the rest of this for when I'm actually doing my summary, but I've more or less done it. You've got the idea, haven't you? And let me show you what I woke up to the following morning. Narnia. That's what I woke up to in my garden. Excellent. Get all those batteries on charge. This was just a blast. As you can see, it's actually snowing. I'm out there getting snowed on and flying as well. It was just the best day ever. Nice thing with the snow, it actually identifies where the branches are, because you get a nice thick layer of snow on the top. You can actually see them in winter, where normally they just spring out and grab a quad at random. Well, this time they couldn't, because I could actually see them, even though I did bump it around a little bit. But it was great fun. And I thought, hang on a minute, this is I'm just blasting around as I did before, but I thought there's a place that I've never ever flown a quad, and for very good reason, and that's in the most dense bit of wood I've got around me. And this is serious. It's even difficult to walk around this bit, and I thought, I've seen people review these and fly them indoors, see how they get on, but this is actually really challenging for it. It's about -3 degrees, it's bitterly cold, there's loads of snow thrown up at it, leaves coming up at it and everything, and it just handled it all really well, and you could still pick your way through all these branches. It was just really good fun. I've never tried it with any other quad. I'm not too sure I tried it with anything else apart from this, but it was really brilliant. And at the end, I actually did a test, unintentional test. I actually fly it in to me on this top left-hand one, and I brought it in really close. Now, it's a wide-angle lens. I didn't realise how close it was, and before I took my goggles off, I stepped forward and literally put all my weight on the quad, and it's fine. And to me, that is pretty impressive. Okay, so on to the summary. Well, you know, what do you think I think about it? Oh, I love it a bit. This thing is awesome. Oh, come on. This is just so much fun and so durable. Look, I could just literally do anything with this. When my welly went down on the top there, I thought that was it. End of review. Seriously, all my weight went down on one leg. So that's a considerable amount. I think that's what the quad thought. Anyway, it disappeared into a little bit of the mud as well, but it was really taking all my weight. Absolutely incredible. Not a mark on it, just cleaned all the mud off, and it's been fine ever since. This is actually a really good design as well. The shape of it, as it hits anything, it just skids past. The aerial bobs out the way. I've not had any issues with any of this at all whatsoever. It has been absolutely brilliant piece of kit, and as you can see, even squeezing like mad, it's not like normal sort of plastic quads. I don't know what they've made it with, but whatever it is, it's sort of Kevlar or something or other, white Kevlar. Perhaps they've come up with a new one. The design of these is very clever as well. Now normally these come straight out from here and literally go at 90 degrees straight into there. And that's the problem. It always breaks on these little bits here, or it'll break in here. That's just where they all break. And what they've done here, they've put a nice curve in when they manufactured it. So when it presses in, when you hit something, it deflects it. So it's sort of doing this sort of thing with it, as well as it doing it that way as well on the actual, on the actual ducted fan itself around the top bit. So a really clever design. I'm sure there's others out there. I'm sure it's not the only one, but I've not come across them. And I've broken loads of my ducted fan cords quads, and they're really annoying because once they go, this starts flapping around and you wind up sort of either cutting them all off or replacing it. If you did need to replace it, and I'd be pretty impressed with anyone that didn't manage to break one of these, all you have to do is just replace the one sort of ducted fan area. So it's not even the whole frame, because the actual frame's carbon fibre. So I've not got any fractures on it or anything at all. Really, absolutely, totally superb. Now, is there anything that I've got slight negative on? Well, to be honest, the only thing I can think of is this should or could be adjustable. So it would be nice if it would just tilt back a little bit more. When I was flying, around the woods that were really tight and everything, this was absolutely perfect. And if you're starting to get a bit of a move on, it's still absolutely fine. But if you actually start using this at full pitch, and I'm not too sure how far it goes over, you actually start running out of your horizon view. No matter what you do, you're not getting in. All you have to do is just throttle off, pitch back just a tad, and you'll get it back in, and then you can see where you're going. But I might well just angle that back just a little bit more. Probably 5 or 10 degrees would be absolutely maximum we'd need to, and then it would probably still be totally flyable in the close environments as well. I just love it. It is just so much fun. And I don't think you get bored with it either. I've flown this loads of times now. And it is a thing, if you jump into something, you enjoy flying it immediately, and then after a little while you sort of think, oh, well, I've done it all now. I don't think you would with this. I think this it just evolves with you. And it gives you confidence once you take off. Now you might be asking why I haven't shown, binding it to the my Tyrannus X7 and why I haven't shown anything in Betaflight. To be honest, everything is just stock. I just bound it to the Tyrannus and in Betaflight I just made sure all my switches were working, and that was literally all I've done. If you want me to make a video on doing that, then just please leave a comment down below for me and just sort of say, yep, we'd like to see how you set it up. But honestly, there's techie channels out there that blow me away on that side of it. Purely because I don't actually have any interest in that size at the moment. Perhaps if I ran out that I was flying and I really needed the PIDs to be changed or something or other. But honestly, I haven't reached that level yet. So, and I'm just having a blast doing it. So whether or not I ever will reach that level, I don't know. And if I do, you'll know all about it, won't you? And the big game changer to me with flying Acro was getting the Tyrannus X7. I've tried loads of other transmitters and everything, and this one I just found absolutely awesome. It just gives you a feel and it makes Acro so much better to fly, and a really enjoyable experience. And I enjoy dropping it back into angle sometimes, or horizon, or air. It really doesn't, when you've got the transmitter right, and I'm not saying this is the be all and end all, but it's certainly changed the game for me. When I was trying other ones on other races that I had originally, I was really struggling, and this was just like a breath of fresh air. So I can highly recommend this. I'll put links down in the description, but if you've got another transmitter and you're going to put a different receiver on here, then that's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with. I'm just passing on my personal view, and this really was the game changer for me. So hope you've enjoyed that. I've thoroughly enjoyed making it. Batteries have been on charge for a little while, so I'm off to fly again.